Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here. I have got Northside's demo Trident 660 and I'm going to upset a couple of people and talk about the segment as a whole. Basically speaking, I do think that the new Trident 660 is going to be the touch point in that 650 naked bike, beginner bike, all-rounder, kind of, do-it-all bike with good value. From now on, I think unless someone really updates a bike that I hadn't seen coming and offers something really, really special, I think the Trident is going to be that touch point. It's adding the electronics, which obviously is something that most of the competition in this segment don't offer. Each of the bikes has kind of a different point that they have strengths on. Say the SV650 at 10 grand, it's really, really good value. The Trident, it's got all the bells and whistles, it's got great brakes, great electronics, great suspension, great engine, probably one of the best engines in the category, although it's a character-based thing. The SV has the twin, the MT-07 obviously has a great reputation for a reason. This engine I definitely think is up there with the best of them, and certainly the electronics are really, really well done. In conjunction with that, with the traction control and the ride modes. Not overly complicated, but something a little bit more than most of the competition. The finish quality being a Triumph is really, really good, but with most of the competition, I wouldn't say generally it's bad, but there are no details which really stand out to me on this bike as being cheap, whereas on most of the bikes, there's little bits and pieces that I can pick out. There's also some nice extras, the dash color TFT style dash, LED indicators, really nice to see, really cool LED headlight as well. And while this is a bit more neo-retro, where stuff like the MT-07 and the Kawasaki Z650 are definitely more futuristic, which sets them apart again, I do think as far as what you're getting for your money, this bike is going to be the touch point for the price point it sits at. I think that's either going to force the competition to perhaps look at what they're offering on their bikes for the next version, or we might see some of the prices move down just to distance themselves from the Trident 660 and what it offers. For instance, with the MT-07, there's a $500 difference on the road between the 2021 and this bike. I haven't ridden the 2021 yet, but obviously the previous bike was an exceptional machine. It was one of my favorites amongst that 650 category. And I do think that this bike will put a bit of pressure on the MT-07. In comparison, the SV650 being 10 on road, I think it is I think priced far enough away from the Trident 660 that it doesn't really need to compete. And I would probably say in general, that's something the SV650 has done for a while. It doesn't really compete with the MT-07 and the Z650 in the same way because the price is low enough, at least here in Australia, that it doesn't have to. There's a big price difference between the models, and as a result, people are very happy to buy that SV650. Now, I guess you could ask whether Triumph have really broken the mold with this bike, and I would say no. To me, the Street Triple 660 a number of years ago, before the full electronics and the ride-by-wire, was an exceptional machine, and this very much follows in that footsteps. Obviously, different styling, and I think this is a little bit more rider-friendly. That bike, despite being a Lamb's version, the same as this Trident 660, had a little bit more bite in it. It could be a little bit more scary, and I remember riding it at the time and thinking, I don't know that this is really that suitable for new riders. You'd grow into it, but it could definitely bite you. Whereas I think the Trident 660 has really done an exceptional job in offering really a perfect place to start riding, obviously on the advanced end of things, but well within reason. And this is the 54 horsepower version, not the 80 horsepower version, but the torque, when you look at the specs they've given, this is only down about 10% on torque, and that comes in a little bit earlier, whereas if you're looking at the full power version, you're getting more torque, but a little bit higher up. And I would say it's probably going to be like the Street Triple 660, where the extra performance that you're getting on the unrestricted version is all on the top end, which you may not need, and certainly here in Australia you probably won't. Anyway, it's starting to pour once again. This has been a very British test of this bike, despite me being in Australia, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I do think this is the new touch point for the 650 category, the learner 650 category, and really a great all-round bike. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular machine or, the competition and where they sit. Stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.